Right, this is the third episode. This is CBT, cognitive behavioural therapy. This is the third technique to the three in my core counselling skills. College bachelor, 9th degree that are finishing off in specifically to accompany my mental health first aid, which I'm going to follow up hopefully in December with the kind of adverse childhood trauma section. So we got the first part. Number one was the psychodynamic, number two was person-centered, and now number three, cognitive behaviour
are in order as components
therapy, CBT.
that expose aid in altering problematic beliefs. Required, practiced adjust. It's skills in therapy, which is based on a crucial idea shared by practice. It's altered by practice. It indicates the automatic response in practice. It's engaged attitudes in practice. And behaviours that will prevail over the negative ones.
So there you go. CBT. I'm just getting up a little bit of a write-up that I saved earlier in my iCloud folder. I'm quite the night owl right at the moment. It's just gone 2 a.m. I've been really busy. I was just finishing off some like writing because I had to answer some stuff. I wanted to get it done, and then I started to watch a few clips. I uploaded something to Instagram which took a minute or two. So yeah, I'm just finishing up right now. So a bit of a late one tonight. I don't expect anyone to be awake out of my Facebook network. I expect you should all be in bed. Most of you got kids anyway. Right, so as I was saying, when I was playing that little sound clip, the sound clip itself was about the idea of CBT. So in order for those components to really work within my core counselling skills, it's going to be all about me helping the helpee with problematic beliefs that obviously, as in practice, with this theory and approach, that we can alter any problems, especially ones that affect the helpee's behaviour, with the practice of CBT. Maybe we incorporate person-centered as well, and a psychodynamic if it's necessary. So with that, and that could be within me working as mental health first aid, as well as a detox therapist, holistically, in specialising in addictions and complex mental health needs, psychosis, as well as intellectual disabilities, because I have a certain amount of expertise in perception and intelligence, of which I'm finishing up at university at the moment. So cognitive behavioural therapy. It's like a method, right? It's about combining two of the following theories, right? With the third, the two that I already mentioned, the psychodynamic and person-centered, with the third, psychological theory. That's right here within my counselling, right? Of an applied sciences. And cognitive itself, that refers to thinking, how we think, why we think the things we do, right? So it's about intelligence and perception. And we'll put all of that into how it makes us behave. Right? So with that, how we act, especially with a psychotherapist who created this, right? Back in the day, Albert Ellis, right? 1913 to 2007. There's also an extra part, which is the REBT, or the rational emotive behavioural therapy, right? Which was created in the 1950s, and that was by psychiatrist Aaron T. Beck, who should still be alive. Right, together in this method, CBT, right, is very powerful, especially as a tool to the likes of a psychologist in practice, right? So when engaged in the psychoanalysis and everything with the client that I'm helping in the helping relationship, myself and the helpee, we're only going to deal with we'll deal with the irrational, but we're going to go to work on anything that is irrational and make it rational. So converting irrationality into rational beliefs, right? So that we can get out of the trap of negative thoughts and negative thinking, which makes us emotional and affects our behaviour, right? So all within the idea and the identity of us, the client, my prospect, my patient, my helpee, right? We're going to confront any issues and problems together, and we're going to replace all the self-defeating, behaviours, that have been a problem or could be an issue. Maybe we do that in detox. Maybe we do that in recovery. It's not all about drugs. It's not all about alcohol. It could be anything. It could be language related within speech orientation. It could be sexual. It could be about kleptomania. It could be about OCD. All right. It could be doing too much train spotting, or having to quit being a graffiti artist and illegally painting on walls and causing criminal damage. So, right, investigating these studies, right, I've enjoyed it. I enjoyed the part about REBT. I found that really interesting, and what was in accordance to Ellis and parts of the events that take place, from kind of A to B, if you like, or A, B, C, is when you're activating an event that leads to the behavioural aspects of consequence, A, B, C. So you're activating a behavioural aspect of consequence. So that's all within an event and belief. Yeah, this leading to things like negative thinking, stuff like that, worries, anxieties, relapse, anything like that. Pardon me, I'm really sorry, it's really late. I'm going to start to cut this short. But this was really interesting. This is what CBT is all about. With that, Albert Ellis and Aaron T. Beck, they developed the technique some more and more, right? Within their school of thoughts, they developed to beyond the event and the belief and the thoughts, and from any of those negative feelings that I read about in the studies that led to or like problems and issues being identified and stuff like that, and everything that's based upon the impact of problems and everything, and people just sort of suffering and that, and then unmet needs and everything, even if it's in ignorance, and they didn't really realise, too tough, and that I was like nearly almost as like aware and realised. But so with that, negative beliefs, that's the ones we want to combat, right? In all events. So we don't like create any consequence, from like thinking negatively. That's what I'm here for. So everything is like interconnected within like areas of our lives, and that or like regions of our minds and our mindset, and how mindful we actually are within our mindset. So regions of our own mind, for real, like our memories and stuff like that, and our like kind of like cognitive like abilities and stuff, our intelligence and our perceptions, so like impact is impact all the same. And some individuals, they need help. That's what I'm here for. So it's like I said, that trap, the vicious cycle it's referred to. It's like it's a loop, of like negative thoughts. And that really does your head in. Nobody likes that. No, you don't have to go through that. You don't have to go through it alone, So there's people like myself out there that's what we're here for. We're here to help. And within these categories, there's some pretty automatic like responses and stuff like that, and there's kind of like reactions that go on, and that we really, you need to avoid, and that. So this is what like cognitive behavioural therapy is all about, because like the therapy itself, within its purpose, it divides everything up into specific states. So there's only like five specific states, and that's to do with the likes of like emotions being triggered, and that people like struggle with. This is where you start activating an event if you're like panic. So in a belief you shouldn't have, like irrational, and you need to like get a grip on that, because that's really unfavorable, and like bad stuff can happen. So like as a consequence, because of that, in the likes of like you perceive as an incident. So with that, the 5 aspects itself within the approach, and the effect of the states and differences to all the interconnected like aspects, having its way with it all and one another, like an interference, and so the divides themselves are to do with situations, they're to do with thoughts, they're to do with like emotions, and the physical feelings that arise from that kind of thing, to like affect your actions. Pardon me, I just had an itchy foot. So there's the 5. I'm just going to lead out now for this cognitive behavioural therapy, CBT, with what I started with. Should be there.
Ideas are in order as components that expose aid in altering problematic beliefs. Required, practiced adjusts. It's skills in therapy, which is based on a crucial idea, shared by practice. It's altered by practice. It indicates the automatic response in practice. It's engaged attitudes in practice. And behaviours that will prevail over the negative ones.
So there you go. Now stay safe, stay well, take care. Thanks for that. I'm well chuffed that you watched all three if you have. Thank you very much. It's also available at YouTube. You can also find it at Instagram and some tweets at Twitter and that. You might even end up finding it, pardon me, like at the organisation website, Sincere Community, at some point, and at ResearchGate. So all the best. Stay safe, stay well. Peace.